So Shmuelzy, nice to meet you, my friend.
Yeah, man. Nice to meet you after talking for a little bit on each other's streams and in messages in the DMs. It's nice to finally do one of these little collabs. I haven't done a collab in a while, to be honest.
So first of all, like, tell us a little bit about yourself, bro. I don't even know like what part of the world you're from, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm from Australia, from Sydney, Australia.
Okay, nice.
Born and raised. Born and raised here. Parents are from dad's from Odessa in Ukraine, and mum's from Baku in Azerbaijan originally. That's where they were born, and dad moved here when he was like 15, 16, and mum moved here when she was in her 20s. Um, but yeah, I mean, I started streaming on Twitch like two and a bit years ago, like June of 2021. Started off with like doing chess and then GeoGuessr, and then started doing a variety of stuff, Among Us, Fortnite, Fall Guys, all that kind of stuff like that. But yeah, it's been a crazy journey. I've met a lot of cool people and sort of, I mean, synchronicities and stuff. We can get into that a little bit later, but meeting people all over the world and connecting with people, it's kind
Dude.
of been very eye-opening and a crazy experience within itself.
Yeah.
In terms of like, I guess spiritual stuff, I've kind of been always a bit lenient towards that kind of stuff.
Like
That's
drawn to
been
it.
sort of, yeah, I've always been drawn to it. There's been a couple of things here and there that are sort of like kind of pushed me into the deep end. That's kind of been, I guess, like realizations and awakenings, if you will, here and there that's happened throughout the years. One that's happened recently as well over the past couple of months that's kind of gotten me back into everything again. Um, but yeah, I guess that's like the general gist of it. You know, just
Yeah.
cheeky
So
Australian who speaks Russian who's into spiritual shit.
nice. Do you create content for like YouTube and stuff like that? Like, do you have YouTube?
Yeah, I do. I do have a YouTube. I've got like a Shmuelzy everything, like a YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, stuff like that. But
It's
I
all
haven't
Shmuelzy.
recently been. I've been sort of like what's the word? I was posting like clips of my like game, like little shorts and little TikToks and Instagram reels, like short, like stuff like that, just like of me playing games and all that. But I've kind of recently been at this not a crossroads, but sort of trying to figure out exactly what kind of content it is I want to make. And
Okay.
for those reasons, I haven't really been posting anything as of recent.
Okay.
But I do plan on changing that this year in the next few months, like uploading some more long form stuff as well as different content for different platforms as well. Maybe making some like phone camera kind of talking like on Instagram and TikTok, and maybe making some more like edited stuff for YouTube and whatnot. But
Dope.
that's something I'm planning on focusing on maybe around March or April,
So
something like
this
that. Maybe
year.
I'm thinking about kind of, yeah, I'm focusing on that kind of. I've been doing this thing where like every month I give myself like one or two objectives that I want to accomplish, and
That's
like sort of, I
smart.
guess, trying to manifest that, if you will, and
Yeah.
like not overwhelming, not trying to like overwhelm things, because I know me personally, I'm like, oh, I want to get this done, this one, this, and this, and this, and this, and I want to get it all done. And I want to get
Right.
it all done now. Like,
Yeah. I
and
got you.
recently, I've been coming up
Grounding.
like this realization of like you gotta focus on one or maybe two things and channel your energy into that in order to see some sort of success or something like
Reward
that.
or yeah, to see something come out of it. I got you, bro. That's smart, man. I love to hear stories like that. Like people realizing that they can do the things they want to do. They just have to figure out like a grounded plan, like right, like just plan your work and work your plan. Basically, that's dope,
But
man.
what about you? What's your like background story? Bit about yourself.
Where do I start? How much time do you have? It's like, so like a little bit about me. I'm first generation American. I was born and raised in San Diego. Lived in Vegas for a little bit, like 7, 8 years. Moved back to San Diego, and then I started streaming or tried to start streaming, I guess, in like 2020. Got away from it for like a year and a half, maybe 2 years, and then I just recently picked back up this last year and really kind of dove into it. And yeah, I make music, and I just like making content, man, and inspiring people. Honestly, I feel like my purpose in this world is to inspire others to, you know, do what they feel drawn to. So, kind of like variety, content creator. But same about Twitch. I love as much as I complain about Twitch, I fucking love Twitch, man. Like, I've got to meet some cool ass people, right? Like you said, like all over the world. And people, like, for instance, last year I was homeless, right? And people that thought they knew what I was going through were like, damn, I'm sorry. I'm like, nah, you're good, bro. I know people all over the world. In fact, I could probably get on a plane and go hang out with people, right? Like if I really wanted to. So it's like people didn't understand that even though I didn't have a home, I still had hope. And that's actually a revelation I came to the other day. You can be homeless and still have hope, but you can't be hopeless and have a home. You know what I mean? Like home is wherever you go, basically. And if you have hope, right, then you can find that home. Basically, you can't do one
100%.
without the other. Yeah.
There's a huge difference between a house and a home. You know what I mean? People assume that the two are the exact same, but you can have a house and not feel belonging at like you don't necessarily feel at home. You know what I mean? So home can be anywhere for you, and you know it can. And even I will go as far to say that you can have multiple homes in that sort of, I guess, in that concept if
Yeah.
you think about it.
Yeah. For reals.
Yeah.
And not feel like, yeah, like, excuse me, like people that have a lot of money, right? They don't necessarily feel fulfilled, right? In fact, they're probably the most empty. It's like you have to understand that like the best things in life are not things. You know what I mean? It's those moments,
Mm.
those joyful moments that make life worth living, and even the painful moments because they make the joy even that much better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But so should we dive into these questions, bro?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm keen. I've got a couple of questions as well that I kind of put
Totally.
together as well that I'm curious about. But yeah,
Cool. Hell yeah. I don't know if you heard of the term, you probably have, but what does the term dark night of the soul mean to you?
to be honest, I haven't heard of that term before, and part of me was like, I should probably research this and Google this before, but at the same time, I wanted to sort of stay authentic and true. So I was like,
That's awesome.
I don't really know what that means. The dark night of the soul. When I first read that, the first thing that came into mind, there was this little couple of years back. I wrote this like little mantra to myself. Like I wrote this because I like writing poetry and little things like that.
Dope.
But I wrote myself this. I don't. I'm sure there's a word for this. I guess in the spiritual world, but like I guess it's like a defense thing. Basically the wording is the dark night. The bright light shines the dark night, for I invite you and I to reunite and become one with the light. That's something that I wrote, and I would like, if I ever have like sense of negative energies, or like if I feel like negativity, or even whether it's spirits or energy or anything like that, I'll kind of say that to myself, like whether it's internally or externally.
Yeah.
Um,
That's powerful,
I don't know what the
bro.
word is for that. I'm sure there's a lot of different beliefs of
That's a
in different
spell,
cultures and
bro.
religions and stuff.
That's
Mm.
magic right there, bro. What you did there was magic. You wrote that?
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
And
And you've never.
I even wrote it down on a little piece of paper, so I had it like neck on my wall. So I wake up in the morning, see it. Before I go to sleep, I'd see it, stuff
Bro,
like that.
that's magic. Damn, bro, you just blew my mind, dog. Like I can't believe you never heard of it, but yet you knew about it. You knew how to protect yourself through it. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
amazing, bro.
I think that's another thing as well. Like, so like the whole, I guess, spiritual side of things, there's a lot of like different words or phrases or like understandings that different religions and cultures and other things will have the same concept or the same idea of something. They'll just have a different way or a different word of it or something, you know what
Right,
I
right,
mean?
right.
So yeah, even though I've never heard of Dark Night of the Soul, but I might have heard of like something similar or something at some point,
Totally,
maybe
totally,
possibly. But
totally, bro.
yeah,
I get
I
it.
I've been kind of delving deep into like recently at the moment, like because I've been doing a lot of research into all sorts of kind of spiritual stuff, and recently past couple of weeks or so, my sort of hyperfixation, because I've got ADHD as well, I got recently diagnosed with it, so been learning a lot about myself in that respect as well. But recently my like hyperfixation has been in like ancient history,
Dope.
like I'm talking like Sumerians and like the
The
Anunnaki and the
Anunnaki,
all of that
dope.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of stuff I've been looking into, and like Book of Enoch. I still haven't read it, like the Book of Enoch or the story of Gilgamesh and all these things like that. So, like having that understanding and realizing that some of the stories in those books, like those ancient, like arguably the oldest text that we do have, as in terms of archaeologically, like found. These are the oldest texts that we have records of, and realizing that some of these stories that are in there are also in the Old Testament, they're in the New Testament. There's some stories that are in the Quran as well. There's some of these stories that you see in Buddhism or Hinduism or in some Eastern philosophy as well. You see all these like stories that all come from like these old ancient texts, and
Mm-hmm.
they're under different names or
Mm-hmm.
different the same gods, or if you will, but like different names for them as well. So that's
Yeah.
something I've been sort of like going down a bit of a rabbit hole. That's kind of been my like philosophy in life in general. It doesn't matter what the topic of conversation is. I always like to see both sides of it. Like if we're talking, for example, politics, if a specific thing about politics, I'll look at what the left says and I'll look at what the right says, and then I'll
Mm-hmm.
come to my own conclusion of what my personal belief would be. But I'm always like that. I always want to hear both sides of it. I guess the yin, the yang, the both sides of everything.
For
So,
sure.
and when it comes to like the ancient, when it comes to like religion or like beliefs or ideologies or that kind of stuff as well, I think yeah, like you were saying, it's all the same, right? Like they're all trying to express the same thing. It's just in different ways, and depending on what period of time we're talking about, depending on I guess the society at the time and the culture and all these things that are all based around there. Like they'll have different words or different ways of expressing it or changing it or whatever it may be, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's super interesting, super fascinating stuff.
So when you wrote that poem, right? Like that spell that you wrote, what were you going through? If you don't mind me asking, like what was
To
your
be honest,
experience?
yeah, to be honest, I can't really remember exactly what it was that I was going through. I at the time around that time period, I was doing a lot of writing in general. I've got a good friend of mine who, I mean, to this day, he's still producing music and constantly writing stuff. I had a small group of friends that we would always go like this was like even like during high school, like high school mates, and we like skip sport and come go to his place, smoke a little bit of weed, and
Right.
play some games and like make music and write stuff, and we all be on our phones like writing up some stuff like, oh, what do you
Damn.
think of this? It's like, oh, this is good, change this, and
Damn.
so we kind of get that in their creative zone and whatever.
Yeah.
So around that time period is probably when I wrote it. And around that time period is when we were all kind of very like spiritual and all of that stuff. I mean, there's a million different stories I've got about those. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it, but
Wow.
like, it's like just a couple of things. For example, like I did Vipassana. I don't know if you've heard of Vipassana. It's like a 10-day meditative retreat that you go to where you're not allowed to speak, read, write, no electronics, no addictions of any sort. So you can't be drinking, smoking, no drugs,
Damn, that's
nothing.
intense.
Um, so the whole idea is you have zero distractions. All you have is your mind
Wow.
and your body and soul, and that's it. And you meditate for about 10 hours a day or so, with
See?
breaks in between, and they give you food, and
Yeah.
it's all free, and it's all over the world as well. Like, and
What?
they don't teach you. And this is the thing, because people go, "Oh, you joined a cult," and I'm like, well, first of all, no. I'm assuming in a cult they would teach you something, but all they taught me was how to breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth. That's all they taught me.
Wow.
Like, so
The
it's not like as
breathing
if
cult.
I've come back from the cult giving you guys some information or knowledge that blah blah blah. It's like, no. What ended up happening is, first 3 days they tell you to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, and then by the third day you start to notice this, like, you start to notice the sensation of your breath on your upper lip. So you feel that vividly. By the fourth to seventh day, they tell you to start focusing on your toes and start focusing on your legs and on your hips and your fingers and your arms. And then you focus your energy while you're breathing in and out on the sensations that you feel around your body. And don't move your body either. You want to like remain still and feel the tickling on your neck, or feel the sweat dripping down the bottom of your back or whatever. Like,
Dang,
focus on
bro.
these sensations. And then by like the eighth or ninth day, by that point, you feel this overall energy around your entire body at the same time. And I mean, yeah, everyone's got a different way of explaining it, but like
Mhm.
your vibe, your energy, your aura, whatever you want to call it, it's like that vibration. And like you can almost start to feel that sort of vibration and energy on others as well.
The
It's
crystalline
it's it's crazy.
grid,
Like,
the
yeah,
energy
and I met
grid. That
amazing people. Yeah, dude, and I met some amazing people there as well. Like, that was just insane. Um, sorry, give me 1 second.
yeah.
Jezza, Tarek, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it.
Um,
But yeah, like I met some amazing people there. Like people that like sort of synchronicities, and ended up becoming good friends with them, helping them with a couple of film gigs as well. This
that's
guy
dope.
named Ryan White Wolf, who he's also, actually, this is something I wanted to ask you about, like shamanism and what is shamanism and stuff. But he's like a traveler. Like, he was in Australia for a little bit. I think now he's in South America in the rainforest, in the Amazonian rainforest with shamans at the moment.
That's
But he's
dope.
traveling all over the world. He never wears shoes. He's always walking around barefoot. He's always in this like
Wow.
white gown of sorts. Um, he makes music and just helps heals people, and yeah. So that
Dang.
was one guy that. But yeah, it's all over the world. Like, they have, and it's free, and they purely go off donations. This method of meditating is basically, it stems from like I think it's Gautama Buddha, the first Buddha, where he came from a royalty. His dad was a
Yes, yes.
king, and
Nichiren?
he was like, yeah, and he sat underneath the tree, and he's like, I'm not moving until I become enlightened, and that's
Yes.
basically that technique.
Bro, you want to hear something crazy? I just became Nichiren Buddhist last year, and I learned about this story. What was
What
that?
was that? Sorry.
Oh, I
Sorry.
was just saying. You want to hear something crazy? I just became Nichiren Buddhist last year, and I learned this
Damn.
story about Nichiren Daishonin, about how he came like from royalty, and he saw how people were suffering, and he's like, why do they have to suffer? How come they cannot be fortunate? And he like you said, he sat under the tree until he experienced the enlightenment. And yeah, that's just a trip, bro. Big synchronicity, big synchronicity. I'm gonna look into this. How do you say Vipassana?
Yeah, Vipassana. Yeah.
I'm gonna look
It's
into
it's
that, bro.
it's super cool. I was thinking about doing it again soon, but what I've heard is when you do it a second time, so you're coming in not as a new student, but you're coming in as an existing student. So it makes it a lot harder, in the sense that, like, if you think of it as like veils, like if you're like uncovering this, like, you've when you go there the first time, you're kind of getting rid of the surface level stuff, right? And you're sort of dissipating those, bringing light to like that stuff. But then you go there the second or third time, you're going deeper and deeper and removing more and more of that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. Um, and you're supposed to go there without any addictions of any sorts, because you don't want to be going there with withdrawals of any
right,
sorts.
right.
So that's another thing that's sort of, back then I used to smoke a lot of cigarettes and drink a lot and whatever, so I had to quit smoking cigarettes before I went there, and drinking and all that kind of stuff. So, but now I'm on these vapes, and my next goal at the moment of the next couple of months is to quit vaping, so that I can quit vaping. I've got no addictions of any sorts, and then I can go to do it again.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
So basically, when you wrote that, you were already channeling. That's a trip, bro. You were already
Yeah.
channeling when you wrote that, when you were inspired to write that about the dark night of the soul.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna quickly. At some point, I do want to ask you about shamanism and like,
Yeah.
what is it and how do you
Okay.
get into it and all of that kind of stuff at some point as well, because I'm
Yeah.
super interested in that stuff.
Shamanism has to do with healing, like on an energetic level, right? So, like in ancient times, right, there would be a shaman in the tribe, and the shaman, like, typically would be the one who, if somebody was like sick, he would take them on like a trip to heal them, right? Like through whatever, drumming, through psychedelics, whatever and the shaman was basically like somebody who knew how to be in the dark, knew how to play in the dark and dip into the dark safely, right? Like, and usually they were like the one with the psychedelics, and you know what I mean, like taking those trips to other realms to figure them first, because before you can heal others, you have to know how to heal yourself. So shamanism just is basically healing and figuring out like what your wounds are, right? Because we all carry wounds around. And that's why I named, well, somebody gave me the name for this channel, right? That used to hang out with us. But it just was like, yes, because what I feel like I'm here to do is inspire others. And by inspiring others, I'm allowing, so by being authentic to myself, I'm allowing others to be authentic as well. And that has a lot to do with healing. So like shamanic awakening is not that I'm awakening to my shamanic power. It's that we all have the capability of healing ourselves. And in turn, as a byproduct, healing others, like allowing others to heal, right? But yeah, shamanism is basically like energetic healing. If I could put it in a nutshell, there's so much like to it though. Like it's its own like world, right? But if I put it in a nutshell, and like the first shaman that I knew of, right? That like when I saw this guy, I was like, I might be a shaman. Was Jim Morrison from The Doors.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Jim Morrison
Damn.
was,
I didn't even know. I didn't even know he was a shaman.
yeah, so
Like,
like he was considered like a shaman because of the music that he wrote and the way that people, you know, responded to it and were basically able to dance it out. So like singing, dancing, that's all healing, right? Drumming, meditating, psychedelics, if you do it right, you know, like if you do it with a guide, basically the shamans were like basically a guide, a companion through the darkness to get you to find your light, basically. And but yeah, that's pretty much like shamanism in a nutshell. You know, like look, check out this book I got, bro, on shamanism, and you'll see like how much there is to it. This is the book I got.
damn.
This is my
That's
hand.
wild.
It's like half my hand, bro. And I'm
That's
barely
crazy,
that
man.
far in. You see the little bookmark?
Yeah, yeah.
So this is a dope book though. I'll show the title of it. It's
Mm.
Shamanic Techniques of
Okay.
Ecstasy, Mircea Eliade. But this is a good read. If you all are into reading, I recommend getting your hands on this book. This dude that wrote this was like legit. We looked him up one day when we were reading it on stream, and we're like, oh snap, yeah, this dude's legit. But yeah, yeah, that's pretty much in a nutshell shamanism. And
The other question with shamanism that I had was like, what are some like I guess misconceptions or like like things that like people would assume is shamanism but isn't. Like I'm sure there's a lot of stuff like that out there. But like for example, like a question I had is like, does a shaman, do they have connections to like I guess the spirit world? Can they channel in
definitely,
energies like other spirits and stuff like that? Is that something that
yeah,
is a
definitely,
thing or
yeah, definitely. That's a great question. So like I said, the shaman of the tribe was the one who could go into the dark and be okay with the dark, right? Like, for instance, if you believe in like demons and angels, right? The shaman can tap into the demons and work with the demons just as well as with the angels, right? So the dark and the light. And basically, like, a big part of being a shaman is understanding that we all carry darkness with us, just like we carry light, and there's treasure to be found in the darkness. Like, for instance, people that don't want to show a certain side of themselves end up being taken by that part of them, right? So, like, instead of acknowledging that part, their darkness, right? Instead of acknowledging that part of themselves, they ignore it until it manifests and it festers and it takes over their life, basically. So, I guess maybe a misconception would be that like shamanism is all about like psychedelics and doing drugs and stuff like that. Like, that's a part of it, but it's not necessarily all of it. Like, they are tools, though. The psychedelics are tools to, like you said, unveil things. Um, and if used properly, they can be very revealing and healing. Um, that's a great question. There's a lot to it. I feel like people think that it's mostly doing drugs, and it's part of it. But singing and dancing is another big part of it, right? Like, music is
yeah.
something that
I've
connects us
been
all. You don't have to know a language to dance to the music. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I like hearing you talk about this, it's made me realize I've been almost in I guess what you're describing. Going back to what I was saying that when I went to Vipassana and I
totally.
met that guy Ryan, and I joined him on some of his events that he would do. He would like perform music with a group of other people as well that he just met along the way that just happened to be locally through synchronicities, through the way of life. Like they connected, and same way I connected with him. It just happened the universe connected us, and we were friends for like until he moved to America. Spent some time in America for a couple of months, and then anyway, but he would perform these songs with it, and everyone would get in on it as well, and we'd all dance and forget what it's called. It makes such good music. The circular cylindrical metal one, the one where you tap
Oh,
around on the sides and
like a
um
pan drum kind of.
yeah, I think so. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. But like there was guitars, drums, and all sorts of things, and you could literally feel the energy like of the place, like uplifting, and like you'd leave afterwards like buzzing, like as if you've just like
Mm-hmm.
had like I don't know, like you've had
Like a
MDMA or
natural
something, and you
high.
all of a sudden, yeah,
Yeah.
it's insane, like the experience
Ecstasy.
from it. Quite literally ecstasy, like it's
Totally.
um euphoria, like so
Mm-hmm.
I completely understand like that feeling that you're speaking of 100%. I'm
Yeah.
sure people in my chat and your chat have probably had some sort of similar experience of sorts where they, for example, if you've gone to a music concert to someone that you really enjoy watching and you feel the energy in that room, and then you leave the concert being like, oh my god, like wow, like, and
Yep.
you
It was
feel almost
healing
like you've got, yeah, 100%. Yeah, because
for
like
sure.
even music, sound and stuff. It's there's something else I've been looking into a little bit as well. Is like like the dimension, when the third dimension is the fourth dimension, other dimensions as well. But everything is essentially a wave, right? Like a frequency of sorts.
Right. Everything
Even the
has frequency.
material,
Yep.
like even the atoms, and this has been proven by science, is they've seen atoms, and even on the atomic level, on the micro level, it's just a frequency.
It carries.
That's what it
Yep.
is. So everything, yeah, everything is like that. So music is the same. It's also on a frequency, quite literally, like
Totally.
So yeah, yeah, it makes perfect sense that music can be healing and affect you in some sort of way like that. Like,
Yeah.
but that's something I've been, going very deep
It
into, and
sounds.
trying to understand how to access the. I was listening in earlier to your conversation about like sort of. I was just jumping in and out of the stream, so I didn't hear the full story. But like about like I guess I heard sleep paralysis and like I don't know if the astral projection or anything was spoken about or not, but like the that whole story. And
Yeah.
as someone who's experienced something like pretty much the exact same, it's crazy, insane
Yeah, dude.
stuff.
We like our brains, bro. Our brains are so powerful, man. Like, but the food that we eat, the things that we watch, right? The where we put our attention can shift because our brains are like malleable, right? Like there's been like studies about neuroplasticity, meaning like you can make new brain cells when you know like learn new things, right? And like I feel like so like I think what we were talking about earlier was a little bit different, but I also remember you wanted to talk about like astral projection, bro. And
Mm.
like what I've been doing lately for the last like month was dream journaling. So when I wake up, boom, I write down my dream right away so I don't forget it. And what I've been noticing, the difference I've been noticing is that when I wake up sometimes I'm still tired. Like even though I got a full night of sleep, it feels like I was doing things the whole night. You know what I mean? Like so I feel like as far as like astral projection goes, if you are training yourself, right, it's like it's like anything. You the more you practice it, the better you get at it. You journaling is a big thing. Like writing things down is a big thing. Like
Mm.
as far as
Yeah,
astral
that's what I've
projection
been
goes
doing as
though,
well. Yeah.
if you set an
Hmm.
intention before you go to bed, right? Like, okay, like you look at a map, like, okay, this is where I want to project to right here. Boom. How can I get there? Okay, I'd have to go over these mountains right here and go to this location. For instance, like the Northern Lights, let's say I wanted to astral project there. I would look at a map and see the direction I had to go, you know what I mean? And just focus on that, set the intention. And it's been said that there's like a string that attaches you to your
Hmm.
body, right? I'm sure you heard of that. And
Yeah.
it's quite literal, man. Like if you practice enough, you can take that string and just like unwind it as far as you want to go. I haven't got to that level yet, but honestly, like I think I am doing it without even knowing or remembering that part, you know what I mean? So
Mm.
that's definitely something I'd like to work on so I can have a better answer for you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but
Yeah, no, I get that.
there's a
I just
lot
love
of
this topic of conversation. I mean, like, I've because I've been doing a lot of research into that as well. Like that string that you're talking about, some cultures call it like the silver cord,
the silver, yeah.
of sorts. But my the closest I've ever gotten with astral projection is, um, I got myself into this state of sleep paralysis, because that's kind of like, the way you kind of do it, for those who don't know, is you kind of get yourself into, make sure you're completely still. You want to get your body to go to sleep, keep your mind awake, body asleep. You get your body completely still, sleep paralysis, you can't move it anymore. And I've gone into the sleep paralysis stage many times.
Same. Yeah.
But then there was one time where all of a sudden I see like a spirit in the corner of my room. Some entity of sorts in the corner of my room, and I'm in my sleep paralysis. So I can't move, and it's coming closer and closer, and it kind of like shifts down like horizontally, so like basically parallel to me being in bed. And it's like an inch away from my face. And what happened is I lifted my arm, but it wasn't like my arm. It was like my soul arm, if you will, my spirit arm, because
Totally, yeah.
I could feel the wrinkles on this person's face. Like I
Wow.
was like, I felt the spirit. I touched it, and I could feel the wrinkles on the face. And then what happened is there was a moment there, and then all of a sudden my arm started going up because they started moving upwards and like lifting my arm, and I got scared and fear and all that kind of stuff
Yeah,
came in. I was
because
like,
it's
oh
some
no, fuck
yeah.
this. So yeah, so I was like, no, fuck this. So I
Abort.
pushed the spirit under. Yeah, yeah, literally.
Retreat.
So I like, yeah, I literally just pushed this spirit underneath my bed, and it just went underneath my bed and kind of
Wow.
disappeared. And then I put like my arm back into its body, and I got out of sleep paralysis and
Dang,
kind of,
bro.
yeah. But that's the closest I've ever gotten into like
That's
that sort of
big.
astral state. I was like,
Yeah.
this only this arm has gotten out.
And
At
then
least
you
that I
used
know
it to
of.
push the spirit back under the bed.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow,
Like
that's
looking back
big,
at it, I'm
bro.
like, no, I shouldn't have pushed him. But again, it's one
It's
of those
practice,
things where,
man. Yeah, just
yeah,
keep practicing,
yeah.
bro. And like I said, maybe it's because you didn't have a direction, right? Like a location that you wanted to project to.
Mm.
Because I've also researched and I found that they all kind of say like make sure you know where you want to go, so that you basically like have an intention, so that you can go
Mm.
there and come back. So maybe that could have been why you reacted the way you did, because you kind of just didn't know where you wanted to go, right?
I can't remember if it was a conscious thing of me trying to astral project, or if it was just a thing that just happened one night where
Totally.
it just kind of happened to me. I can't remember exactly if it was conscious decision of me trying to astral project, but I've kind of recently been taking a little bit of a break in astral projection and focusing more of my energy on lucid dreaming and stuff
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
Because I've also heard people saying that astral, like, it's better to astral project in the morning as soon as you wake up than at night, because at night your mind's tired, your body's tired, you just want to sleep. Whereas in the morning, if you feel refreshed, or like, apparently people say like if you're in the middle of the day about to have a nap, that's like the best time to astral project.
Mm.
That's also what I've heard. So I've kind of taken a pause on that, and like what you were saying, dream journaling. I've got my little journal next to my
Dope.
bed. Been writing stuff down. I've been doing
Nice.
reality checks every. I've got a little app on my phone that reminds me to do reality checks every, like, I think I
Nice.
do like 20 a
Dude,
day.
apps are awesome.
Um, couple of Yeah, a couple of days ago. This is the closest I've gotten in terms of lucid dreaming. It happened a couple of days ago, literally. I was in my backyard with my dad. We're just sitting at the table there, just having some drinks or whatever, talking. Then all of a sudden, we see like a UFO in the sky, and we're like, is that a UFO?" It's like, there's no way. There's no way this could be real, right? And like, as soon as I said there's no way this could be real, as soon as I said that, the UFO like kind of almost turned into a frisbee and like knocked my dad in the head. And like, we're like, what the heck? How is this happening? This can't be real, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I gotta do a reality check. I gotta see if this is even real or not. So as soon as I start doing my reality check, like counting my fingers, my dad says, "Why are you doing a reality? Like, stop doing a reality check. Like, this is real. Like, just relax." I'm like, no. I'm gonna quickly do this. It's fine. And then as soon as I like start doing my reality check, I get hit in with the frisbee,
And you
like
woke
with the
up.
UFO frisbee disc thing. No, I was like, this is insane. This is like unbelievable. So I'm like, I gotta do this reality check. So I go back to my fingers, and as soon as I do that, I see like a tall, lanky, alien-looking. It was like green and black, just running across the backyard, just running across, and we made
Wow,
eye
bro.
contact, and then that's when I woke up. Yeah.
That's dope, bro.
So
That's you were there,
yeah,
bro. You were there with
it was
in a
yeah,
different
it was
dimension.
crazy. And like the way I interpreted it, or like I told one of my friends about it, and he started laughing. But he put it into really good words. He's like, it was the aliens or the spirits kind of saying, "You want a reality check? Here's your reality check," and they just
Yeah,
threw
yeah, yeah, for
frisbee or something
sure,
at me. He's like, yeah, I think
dude. That's a trip,
sometimes you
bro.
have those
Thank you
things
for
that
sharing that.
yeah
Thank you for sharing that.
yeah
And that's a result, bro, of you dream journaling and doing reality
hmm
checks like that. Have you ever seen the movie Inception?
yeah man yeah.
That's a great movie,
Crazy.
bro.
I genuinely believe Inception to be real. I was like in terms of the idea, the concept of Inception. This is
Hmm.
something else that I've heard going back to astral projection. I've heard cases and stories of people who have astral projected where one guy he would astral project, he would enter his mum's dream,
Wow.
right? So he'd be in his mum's dream in
Yeah.
that reality of sorts in that realm. And then like the next day he would like they both wake up and be like, "Oh mum, um, and he'd go word for word what her dream was, and the mum be like, "How the hell do you know what my dream was? Like, are you a psychic? Like, how are you reading my mind?" It's like, "No, because that was me. I was in your dream. That's why I was there."
Wow,
So like
bro.
the idea of Inception, that movie, it's not too far off in theory.
Dude.
Theoretically speaking, you
Yeah.
could. I don't know. I don't know I guess the
Direction.
ethics of that. You know what I mean in terms
Yeah.
of using that power for whatever. But
Yeah.
like,
Well, dude,
um,
military, bro. For
don't even
control,
get
you
me
know?
started. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
know, right? They're gonna shut us down.
No, but yeah,
Oh, they're on to us. They're like, just shut all Twitch down. Yeah, man. What I was gonna say, dude, you totally like took this in a whole different direction, bro. But I love it. That's awesome, bro. That's why I wanted to chop it up with you. I knew that there would be some stuff here. What I was gonna say about lucid dreaming. Next time, bro, like try and communicate with them, bro. Tell me what they say. No,
yeah,
oh,
yeah. No,
I was
I
gonna
mean that's the
say
goal. Like,
this is what I was gonna say about like trying this out. So I've had some experiences with like telepathy where like I've thrown energy, right? Like I can't explain this, and if I tell you the story, you're gonna be tripping out. Like, yeah, right, you're fucking crazy. But every time it happened, I had one foot on the ground. So like I'm laying down, right? And one foot is up on the bed and the other foot is like touching the ground. And when I wake up, I'm actually like throwing energy. The last time it happened, bro, I swear to God, bro, like I can't even explain it, dude. Like, um, I just tell you real quick. It's not that long of a story. Basically, so like I said, a few months ago, I was homeless and I had an office though where I did my work, right? My streaming, my content creation, all that shit. And I had, like my turntable. It's like this big case with turntables in it, keyboard on top of it. I had a keyboard stand that it sat on. And I had this chair that was like so perfect for falling asleep, bro. Like you just lean it back and lock it, and boom, bro, I'll be out, bro. And I'd work so damn hard all the time that if I just lean back in that chair, I'll be out. And my feet would be like on the ground though, like just barely touching the ground. And I was out. I passed out, bro, like around noon, and like around 3 o'clock, I woke up and saw like everything around me lifted up off the ground, bro, like just a little bit. And when I realized that it was doing that, I was like, "What the fuck?" Like I sat up real quick and everything fell, bro. And like the way this shit fell was like, how the fuck did that guitar get under my chair? Why is this trash can like all spread out? Like all the trash was everywhere. I was just sitting there, bro, for like an hour. And then plus, it was in a building where there was like lawyers working there. Like there was just like right by the courthouse downtown. So there was like lawyers working there during the day. So during the day, I kind of had to keep it down to not like disturb other people. But at nighttime, it was a party. Ask Jezza. But So when all that shit fell, like it was loud. I was like, oh shit, like damn, that probably sounded crazy as hell, right? And I was just sitting there though, like, what the fuck? How the fuck did this get over here? And my guitar's under the chair. Like it was like thrown, bro. Like and I sat there for like an hour trying to figure this out and like rationalize this and explain this to myself. And what I noticed that my feet, the bottom of my feet hurt like I was running. And I remember right before waking up, I was having like this dream that I was running on rocks, like barefoot on rocks. And my feet felt like they were bruised, like from running on rocks. I don't know, bro. I honestly can't explain that. And I know it sounds crazy as fuck, bro. But that wasn't the first time that some shit like that was the biggest time and the last time that some shit like that happened to me. That's why I know that like when you tell me a story like that, it's true, bro. Like our brains are so powerful. It's just that they, right, don't want us to know this because then we'll all be fucking teleporting places and shit like that, right? Like dematerializing and rematerializing in another place, right? Like they don't want that, bro. They don't. We'll put a lot of people out of business that are in control. You know what I mean? But yeah. So just keep doing what you're doing, man. For reals. That's you're making big like leaps and bounds, bro. Quantum leaps, bro. Quantum leaps. Shifting your own reality, bro. That's fucking dope, bro.
Yeah, man.
I gotta ask you this, man, because like you look very like vital, man, like healthy. I don't know what your health is like, but I would like to know like how you self care, bro. Like how do you self care?
Well, it's been a bit of a journey. I'll be honest. I will admit that there hasn't been a lot of self care that's been done. I mean, recently, yes, I would say recently, yes, for sure. But for example, in the past 3 years, I've lost 20 kilos. Just in the past year or so, I've lost like 10. But all of those, when I remember people like, how'd you lose the weight? It's like I just wasn't eating as much as I used to. That's basically it. But in terms of like where I was, and I wasn't really looking after myself at all in terms of physically or mentally. Last year, oh sorry, 2022 was like one of the toughest years for me, like in terms of just everything, like in all family and personal and streaming and just everything in general was just all coming all together at once. So like going into like 2023, I made a conscious decision that my only goals for this year is to get my mental health and physical health in shape. That's my only goals for this year.
Okay.
Nothing else. That's it. So I took a bit of time off from streaming as well, focusing on myself, trying to figure out what it is I want to do, how I want to approach things, all that kind of stuff. Got diagnosed with ADHD as well. Got diagnosed with like a sleeping disorder. Got diagnosed with this and that. Blah blah blah.
So you like went to a doctor, like you
So
actually went to like a
yeah,
professional.
yeah, like a psychiatrist. Yeah. So I mean, I've been seeing a psychologist for like 5, 6, 7 years, something like that. Like I've been going a couple of weeks just for mental health stuff. Just in general, I believe everyone should, to be honest. Doesn't matter if you're living a happy life and joyful life. It's
Right.
good to get like an outsider's opinion on someone that's not friend or family or anything. Someone that's trained in this field to like look at things from a different perspective.
Totally.
So I personally believe that, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I went to see a psychiatrist, got diagnosed with ADHD, and I was on. They prescribed me Ritalin for a while, so I was on that for a little bit, and it was good at first, but then after a couple of weeks or months taking it, it made me very depressed and very sad, and just yeah, very negative thoughts. So
Side
I
effects, yeah.
I went back to the psychiatrist, told him that no, I'm not. This is not working for me. So now I'm on dexamphetamine, which is so I take that roughly about 2 to 3 times a day. Um, to be honest, I do prefer like how I am on them, like how I, because I kind of am more focused and more alert. My mind's a bit quiet. I can stay more attentive and focus on things. Um, so that's been a part of it. That's also been sort of it's also given me more motivation and more kind of like I don't know how to put it, but like up the best way I can explain it is like, for example, if there's a frying pan that's really really hot, and I tell you go touch that, you'd be like, are you nuts? It's hot. Like, I'm not going to touch that. That's, you know, your brain won't allow you. It's called like executive dysfunction. But it's like your brain won't allow you to touch it. Like, it's the same thing if I told you to chop off your finger off right now. You'd be like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Or like, for example, like your finger, a little fun fact, is about the same consistency as a carrot, right? So the way you bite a carrot is the same force you'd need to bite your finger off.
Yeah.
But our minds don't allow us to do that. Like, just,
Okay.
you know, but so that sort of analogy is the way I can explain it in terms of like doing a menial task of sorts, like get your
Okay, I
driver's
got you. Yeah.
license.
That
You
makes
know,
sense.
get, it's like, well,
You need
your
like
brain just
something
gets
to,
overwhelmed.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's been so that like the taking it, I've actually seen like actual proper. I know it's not for everybody. This is just my personal experience,
Hmm.
and everyone reacts differently. Like, you know, for example, only 1 in 10 people get depressed when they take Ritalin. I just happen to be that one out of the 10.
Yeah.
You know,
You're the
for others it works, for
exception.
others it doesn't. Yeah, yeah. So it's different for everybody. But yeah, in my case, it was yeah. This is like, for example, I just started like my first driving lessons last week. You know, and I'm going for another session in 2 days from now, 3 days from now. So you know, it took me like seven. At the age of 16 in Australia, you can go for your drive. You can get your driver's license and start learning and everything. I'm 27 now, so it's been 11 years of
Oh,
me
wow.
procrastinating or not being able to do it, or whatever you people say, laziness or this or that. I don't know how to explain it. It just couldn't get it done for the life of
That's,
me.
yeah.
Um,
That's what you needed help with, right? Like,
and it was as simple as make sending one message, getting a response back, being like, this time, this place, yes, okay, done. It was as simple as that. But there was
dang.
some sort of stump in me that kind of prevented me from doing it. I don't know, for the life of me, I don't understand.
Interesting.
Um, but also, like, since then, since taking the dexamphetamines and all that, and I've also been doing more research online about ADHD and like learning like cognitive behavioral therapy as well. So like little techniques that you can use to get yourself to do things. So for example, like there's this one technique called like the 3 minute technique. If you have a task like clean your room or clean the kitchen, set yourself in a calendar a specific time of when you're going to do it, and say that you're going to do it only for 3 minutes. That's it, just 3 minutes. And then after the 3 minutes, you can go back and do whatever you're doing. Um,
It's like taking
so
little
what that
bites.
does is, yeah, but like what that does is you go, okay, I'll just do it for 3 minutes. You get to the kitchen, you start cleaning for 3 minutes. You even set a timer for yourself for 3 minutes. Once that timer goes off, you're more likely to continue cleaning for more than just 3 minutes because you're already in the kitchen, you're already doing it, you're already in the job. You're more likely
Yeah.
to keep going. And if you don't want to keep going, that's fine. Go back to what you're doing. But you're more
Right.
likely to continue. The fact that you actually did that, not only
Yeah.
does it gives you more dopamine, it gives you more serotonin in your body as well. It kind of gives you, it's like, I did that, like, let's go, like, it makes you feel good, and it starts that sort of like snowball effect of like positive things and getting more things done as
Right.
well. Like, and like
Totally.
also another thing I've learned is like breaking down things. Like if I like have a big task that I want to accomplish, breaking it down into smaller steps, and then breaking those smaller steps down even more. So like I'm gonna do this small step on this day, and then this small step on this day, and this small step on this day. It gives you a more concrete way of actually doing something and getting things done. And then you'll slowly see the results, and then that will give more, I guess, positivity to you and more like
Motivation.
happiness and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, motivation and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Totally. So basically, like your self care would be like learning about yourself. Obviously, like rest, I feel like is a common thing, right? We all need rest. You took a whole year, you said, right? Or like you
Yeah,
dedicated a
pretty
whole
much.
year to like your mental health and
Yeah, like 2023 resolution type stuff, like
gotcha.
that whole thing. That was kind of like my what you call it, goal for that year. But like
That's
this year, I
big,
mean, like
man.
I've been doing like 20 like yearly goals recently, and I've also as of like January, I've started doing like monthly goals as well. So like What do I
Short
want to
term and
achieve
long
this
term.
month? Short term and long term goals, yeah. And like long term, like in terms of like long term, like the dream, the big dream is to have my own production company, write, direct, produce feature films, short films, TV shows, and then online media as well, and
That's
be
dope,
able
man.
to bring other people in as well, to elevate them and get their stuff going and happening as well, and overall just bring positivity and joy and happiness and entertainment to the world.
Yeah.
So that's
Dude,
like the
that's
big goal, right?
shamanism right
Like
there,
the
bro. That's
mm,
shamanism right there, bro. Yeah, I mean, like that's a form, bro. Like what your overall goal is to lift the frequency of the earth, bro. That's shamanism. Just
yeah.
saying.
Well, leave the world better than when I got here. You know what I mean?
That's
That's
so
basically it.
dope.
Like, yeah,
We are
that's
on a
always been
similar
like
mission, my
that's
friend.
always been my thing.
That's
Mm.
dope, man. That's see there. I knew there was something about you that drew me in, bro. That's dope, man. Well, I mean, dude, do you have any other questions for me or for Chad or?
Um, I I mean I had some questions. I don't know if I'll be able to get through all of them, but like one I've got two questions actually I want to get into, but
Okay.
like first one is like how do you see like shamanism sort of like evolving like in this modern day and age we've got like digital technology, all this kind of stuff. How do you see it sort of like changing or evolving, or like how do you see like the idea of like connecting with nature and the spirit and all that kind of stuff in this sort of modern day and age with like
Yeah,
technology and all?
that's a great question, man. Um, how do I see it evolving? So I think that a big thing, like, so I have two little girls, right? A 3-year-old and a 9-year-old. And one thing that I worry about, right, is that they get enough time in nature, right? Because nowadays they're just always on the devices, right, or watching stuff. And like I make sure that what they watch is teaching them something, right? At least something, anything. But as far as like shamanism evolving, I feel like there's a big need for us to, like Pixel is saying, unplug. You know, like we have to unplug sometimes, even though like it connects us, right? Like that trip you're talking about, the how do you say it again?
Vipassana.
The Vispa.
Vipassana.
Yeah, the
Some people say Vipassana and some people say Vipassana. I still don't know which one's the right way, but
Vipassana.
yeah, Vipassana,
Dude,
Vipassana. Yeah,
if that's something that's available for everyone, I highly recommend that because it's as simple as that. Focusing on your
it
breath,
is.
you
It
know?
is hard to do though for 10 days to
Yeah,
not be able to talk and just be stuck with your own thoughts in your mind. You end
yeah,
up thinking about every from the earliest memory you have till the modern
yeah,
present day, to
regression.
every relationship you've had, to every friend, to every little thing you think about. It's
I think
yeah.
definitely it's evolving in a good way, right? Because like I said earlier, we have the technology to learn about anything we want to learn about. Like for instance, I picked up a guitar 2 years ago and right away learned a few songs because of YouTube. You know what I mean? Like anything you want to learn, you can learn in this day and age. You know what I mean? Yeah, like nature is definitely something that I feel like we need to get in touch with more because we're kind of like more being getting used to being inside, and I feel like COVID didn't really help with that, you know. But like I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to watch, definitely. But with technology, I'm not afraid of technology. In fact, like I think it's good, but we have to use it properly, right? Like it's a fine line. It's a very fine line. Like what we put our attention to. But this is the day and age. Like I said, you just look up something and you can research it thoroughly. So I think shamanism is going to be something that we all learn to do for ourselves eventually. I mean, I that's what I'm at least hoping for. I don't like using the word hope because it implies that there's a doubt, right? Like I'd rather say trust, but that's a pretty big, that's a pretty big aspiration. So I'm gonna stick with hope on that one. But I do trust the universe wants to see us succeed. So we'll see how that goes, right? But dude, like meeting people like you, bro, gives me more faith in that because we're on a similar path and we just met like a month ago, but there was something, right? Like a synchronicity brought us together and here we are. And this is the type of connection and like work that, like I said, gives me faith. So I think we're going as a whole, like as a collective, right? As a connected force of energy, really. I think we are making big leaps towards higher frequencies for sure. Like we can't stop that actually. Every time that the earth goes around the sun, it's picking up, higher frequencies and higher. If you resist, you're going to have a hard time, right? But if you go with the flow, then there's no way but up, right? Like we're just going to keep evolving. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see. We'll see, I guess, where shamanism goes, right? I'm hopeful, though. I'm
Yeah,
hopeful.
yeah. I'm hopeful as well. Honestly, I like to look at things in a positive outlook in any with whatever it may be.
The bright
Like
side,
you're talking
right?
about, for example, COVID. Yeah, yeah. Like you were talking about COVID earlier and how like it might have been a negative thing in terms of like for example like being stuck indoors and not being with nature and all that kind of stuff. But if you look at the positive side of things, a lot of people during COVID came to a lot of self reflection. They had a lot
Yeah,
of time for self reflection, a lot of self realization
for
about
sure.
what they like, what they don't like. Even if we talk about, I guess, the corporate side of things, people could work from home now. They don't have to go to their office nine
Right.
to five. They could do it from home, live a more happier life like that. Now that's a whole
Totally.
conversation that's being argued about. Corporations are like, no, they have to come into the office, even though they don't really need to, just mainly because corporations have paid a bunch of money for these places and they kind of want people to be using them. A whole bunch of stuff like that. Some people have found their passions, and I know a lot of streamers, for example, who started streaming during COVID and have like blown up since then, and other people, like yourself, for example, yeah,
I didn't have a great go
like
at it at first, but it was definitely inspired by being stuck at home with my own thoughts, like you said. No, definitely, I like that, bro. I like that you, argued that. That was great, man. Because yeah, definitely looking at the bright side of things is much better, fulfilling life. I feel like when people stay stuck on the negative shit, like you just keep perpetuating that. So,
yeah,
um,
100%.
yeah,
And like
I
one
do
of the
think.
things.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna quickly say like one. I remember like one of the questions that was on there was like about I guess positive I guess attributes or not positive attributes. I can't remember how you said it, but basically like for example in the morning, what I'll do is I'll look in the mirror and give myself like positive affirmations like you are worthy, you are good, like you are who you are right now, and this is the person that
Mirror
you need
work.
to be right now. Like yeah, like that kind of stuff. So like doing that kind of stuff as well, I've noticed has so helped like mental health wise, going in that like that's thing.
Totally.
Um, but also thinking in that mindset as well, you kind of bring that positivity into your life as well. You
For
end up
sure.
manifesting it. I heard someone saying, I don't, maybe you've heard like Bashar, maybe that Bashar he's the guy's name is Daryl Waite, I think. He like channels in this entity called Bashar, who's from another planet or something like that. If people believe that or not, but like, I mean, I believe it. But he was talking about this one thing about like the universe just agrees with everything that you say. It's like,
Yeah.
I hate this job. Yeah. you do hate this job. Yeah. It's like, I want to quit. Yeah, you do want to quit.
Yeah,
You know, it's like,
totally.
that's constantly what the universe is, just a reflection of you yourself, and
Boom.
whatever you put into the world is exactly what you'll get. So, there's also,
Bingo.
in psychology, there's what's known as passive and active goals. So, for example, you could have a goal of like wanting to find a new job, but if you just say you want a new job, you most likely you're not going to get the new job.
Right.
You
You
have
have
to go looking for it, and you
do the
have to
work. Yeah.
apply, and you have to do this and do all that, and then the universe will bring you something. Like, it'll be like,
Totally.
hey, look at this. This is for
Yep.
you. Um,
A big part
but
of
yeah,
that.
it's that sort of same.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and I was to say a big part of that, like, right, like, it's allowing the universe to do that for you, though, right? Because, for instance, you could say, like, I hate this job, I want a new one. And then you get an offer for a job, but because you're so comfortable in the one you're at, even though you hate it, right? You're secure and you feel like, well, if I jump out of my comfort zone, who knows what will happen? Then you're not allowing the universe to work for you at that point. You know what I mean? And being like rigid too with your expectations is a definite like block on your manifestations. Like you want to let the universe work for you because the universe wants to see you succeed, and that's not necessarily gonna look the way that you think it should look, right? Like the shit's gotta fall down so you can rebuild something better on it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the
Totally.
idea of having like expectations or a certain goal in mind, and like that's something that I've been realizing a lot of recently as well. Is that, like, before I used to say, oh no, I keep my expectations low so that that way I can't get disappointed if it does affect me. That's how I used to talk about it. Like, but nowadays I say it as like, no, I'm not looking at it as keeping my expectations low, as opposed to trying to limit the amount of expectations that I have, so that
Okay,
whatever
yeah.
happens happens, and that way it is what it is.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that whole mentality. The other thing I wanted to touch on quickly is synchronicities and stuff, like coincidences, meaningful coincidences. I'm sure people have heard, or people have had this happen to them, when they're getting a call from someone and they already know who it is without even looking at the phone or who it is, and they say, "Oh, what the hell? I was just thinking about you." Or like you might say something, and then all of a sudden, like, you feel like on your phone scrolling, and you're thinking about, in your head you're thinking about an elephant, and then all of a sudden on your phone an elephant
Okay,
shows
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Or like,
I was gonna say,
but there's
yeah.
other. Yeah, I'll quickly
Yeah.
say, like, something that I've done with synchronicities, personally, is, it's, in my opinion, it's a way to almost communicate with, like, the spirit world, if you will. So, for
Yeah.
example, numbers, nature, like birds. These are things for me. So, like, the number 1054, I don't know why. It's just a number that I see twice a day. Even like this, people talk about 1111, 333, 444, 222, stuff like that. I see a lot of, um, for some reason, I don't know why, but bicycles and bikes and stuff is something that happens as well.
Interesting.
Music, birds, and like street signs, like stop signs as well. So these are like
Totally.
little, like, things that are in my. I'll give you an example. Like, I was listening to a song, and the song, I can't remember exactly what they were saying, but it was something along the lines of, like, we're trying to talk to you, or something like that. And in my mind, I was like, is it really trying to talk to me right now? And then all of a sudden a bike just went past. And I'm like, nah, there's no way this is, like, actually happening. I did my reality check. I'm real. This is the real world. I'm like, okay, there's no way this is happening. If this is happening, then another bike will come past now. And all of a sudden another bike just went past. You know?
Bro,
And then
yeah.
in the song, at the same time, the song is like saying "see," like it's happening, or something like that. It was like saying it's happening, or something.
Dang.
I'm like, it's
Yeah.
like you have these surreal moments in life where it is possible to have these synchronistic
Totally.
events with symbolisms of sorts and objects
Yeah.
and things happening simultaneously all at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
So like, if you want me to touch on synchronicities, I believe that. So I don't know if you ever heard of Abraham Hicks, right? Abraham Hicks is like a speaker where she channels like a spirit, like you said, that other person does. But she said it like the best way I feel like spoke to me was that there is no coincidences. There's only incidences cooperating, right? So like to me,
Yeah, I
synchronicities
like
are
that.
like signs that something, like you said, something something that your higher self, right, the universe, the all, is trying to communicate to you, right? And like as far as numbers go, like if you look into numerology, each number has like a trait, right? And when you see them repeatedly, it's like that message but more intense. Like the more repeatedly it is, it's like more of that, right? Definitely music can be a big, communicator, right? Like you said, like all of a sudden you're thinking about this and then the music is like confirming it for you. They're like confirmations basically. So like when you like when you said if this is real, another bike will pass, that's your confirmation right there. Like you
Yeah.
are your mind is very powerful, man. Like you can manifest anything if you want to, though. You have to actually want to, right? Like do the work. But
Mm.
yeah, synchronicities are awesome, man. You said
Yeah.
1054 is a number that you see often?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it started off because that was when like my recess at school would start at 10:54 a.m. That's when recess would start. And
Hmm.
since then, I've just been seeing that number all the time anyway, like always, like on a
Interesting.
daily basis. I don't know why. I don't, to this day I don't understand, but
If it goes
I
back
mean there is also the argument in psychology that what you think of a
patterns.
lot of it you'll start to see it more as well in like if you
Right.
whatever
Because
you're
our
thinking
brains
of you'll
want,
start to
yeah.
recognize it more. It's
Right.
like when you learn a new word and then all of a sudden you see that word everywhere,
Yeah.
like
Or you get a yellow
um
car and then next thing you know, all you see is yellow cars, right?
yeah,
Like
exactly, yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Totally.
um
Yeah, there's a fine line for sure. You have to discern and be like, am I looking for this, right? Because
yeah,
if you're looking, it's just like anything. If you're looking for it, you'll find it. What you want wants you. What you seek is also seeking you, right? To be honest, sometimes the shit I say, I don't even know how the fuck I know it. To be honest with you, but I know it though. Like this is a fact, man. Like attracts like, and opposites attract as well. So if you want something, you're gonna get the opportunity to either get it or get exactly the opposite. But what you were saying earlier about the exterior world being a reflection of our inner state, bro, that shit is real, man. Like I went through homelessness last year, and throughout that, when I got my first ever personal tarot reading from my good friend here in the chat, Pixel Faye, and she pulled out like the bliss card, I was like, yeah, even though I don't have a home, I feel good about myself. Like I know I can get through this. And the leaps that were made since then are like unreal, bro. Like I feel super fortunate to have met people all over the world, because if not, I would still be stuck in the same situation, and that wouldn't have been able to manifest if I would have been negative or not allowing things to happen. You know what I mean? Kind of like letting go of controlling everything. So I believe big time in what you said about our exterior realities being a reflection of our internal state. Like if you could find joy and peace in the shittiest situations and hold on to that, you will make it out of that shitty situation quicker than you think. You know what I mean? It's
yeah, I
difficult,
mean this is
but it ain't
yeah,
hard
this is
either.
something that I've been saying this a lot recently, and like this is something I don't know if it helps anyone when I say this. I think some people will be like, "All right, Simon, enough." But it's a quote. I think it comes originally from like Buddhism or something. It was, "This too shall pass."
Mm-hmm.
So basically it's the idea that nothing in this universe, like literally nothing in this universe, is permanent. Everything
Right.
changes, no
Totally.
matter what it is.
Everything
It's That's
has
just
to.
the way it is. And if you're going through something shit right now, then that's going to change. If you're going through something good right now, then that's also going to change. It's
Right.
Nothing's permanent. So
Right.
take what you will with that information. If you're in a happy situation right now and you've just heard that, I'm sorry, it might get shitty later. And if you're in a shitty situation, then you've got something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything changes, and you gotta, yeah.
The wheel.
That's
It's
something
like
that
a
I've been saying a
wheel.
lot to myself, and yeah, to others.
For sure. Yeah, life
So
is
yeah.
not like a straight up or a straight down. It's like this, right? Ups and downs.
Mm.
The way I look at that's a great way to look at it, right? The way I look at it is that like it's a wheel, right? It's going up and down. You got to take your opportunities when they're there or they'll pass, right? And if you're going up, if you maintain that feeling of going up, when you go down, then you won't go all the way to the bottom. You'll hit a higher low, and in turn you can go a higher high. So every time you go down, you won't go all the way to the bottom. You'll go like to the middle and then go up higher. So but that's
Right.
totally true,
Yeah.
man. Ups and downs is a big that's nobody is what's the word, susceptible to down, like hard times, right? Like down, you have to go up and down, or there would be, it would be like nothing, right?
Mm.
It wouldn't be anything, right? There has to be
Yeah.
both. But yeah, man, dang, dude, that was a good talk, bro. We almost went for 2 hours, bro.
Yeah, I know. Did we go? I could
I'm good.
honestly
I'm
talk for
good.
hours
I
more,
was
but
I was gonna say,
yeah.
bro, we should save some of these questions for another time, right? That way we
100%.
can
Yeah.
have some stuff to talk about. Um, it's
Mhm.
almost 8 a.m. here. I'm gonna have to take like a quick
Yeah.
little break, use the bathroom, eat
That's fair.
something.
Yeah.
But thank you, man. Thank you for agreeing to do this. I appreciate you so much. Keep doing what you're doing, man, for reals. And I'll keep showing up and leaving the window open for you. I was gonna say, like, I do that for certain people. I don't do that for everybody. And like, I hang out as much as possible, but just like everyone, we got stuff we got to do. But
Yeah.
I'll always leave that window open, man, for people that are doing, the good, fighting the good battle. You know what I mean? Thank you, Illy.
Hell yeah,
Thank you for
man.
hanging. Do y'all
Likewise.
have any questions for Shmuelzy before we go? Thank you, man. Like I said, bro, this is dope. Thank you for showing up in my
Yeah,
chat.
man.
It was like,
Thanks,
hey,
man. No, and
Shmuelzy
yeah,
also streams. Maybe hit him up for a collaboration. I was like, let me see what this guy's about. Click. You were streaming. I was like, oh, he's streaming. I'm gonna say hi. And you were so stoked to see me, bro, that I was like, I'm
yeah,
gonna listen to Twitch right now. I'm gonna hit this guy up.
yeah.
And here
Because
we are,
I
man.
was I was trying. So this is another thing as well. Like talking about manifesting and doing that kind of stuff. I'm in the future, like, in like around June, July. I have these ideas of making events like game shows and tournaments and like big events that I'm planning on doing. Right.
Yeah.
So, and the issue that I have with that at the moment is I need streamers, I need content creators for that kind of stuff, right? And the past year I haven't really been reaching out to a lot of other creators or reaching out to other people. So
Yeah.
I've been trying to make a more conscious effort of like networking and making friends in the streaming space and doing all that kind of stuff a little bit more. And then I've been doing that and all that kind of stuff. And then I remember like I looked through the tags on Twitch. I was like spirituality tag or UFO tags or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
random tags I
A
was looking
cult,
at.
some
And I found
crazy.
your name pop up, and I was looking and I popped into your stream and was listening to you talking about like tarot cards and stuff like that and this and that and all this other stuff, and I was like, damn,
That's
this guy
rad,
seems pretty
bro.
cool.
That's rad, bro.
And then
Thank
you
you for
came into my
sharing that.
stream. I was like, oh, how'd you find me? I was watching you the other day. And yeah, and then yeah, it all connected there.
Hey, Twitch knows what it's doing, bro, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Twitch knows what it's doing, bro,
yeah,
for sure. But yeah,
for
man. I mean,
sure.
like, if you're looking for content creators, bro, here I am.
Hell yeah, man.
But that sounds
Hell
dope,
yeah.
bro. That sounds hella dope, bro. Do you have Nintendo Switch?
I do, yeah, yeah.
Dude, next time if you ever stop by and playing some games, bro, just add me. Add my friend code. All you gotta do is type exclamation point switch in the chat, bro. Boom. My Nintendo code. You know what? I'm just gonna
Sweet.
DM it to you right now.
Yeah, DM it to me. I mean, I'll be honest. I've been kind of addicted to Power World recently, so that's kind of been my new hyperfixation.
Okay.
In fact, that's probably what I'm gonna do straight after this is just play Power World.
Is that on Switch?
But I don't really use the Switch. It's I don't think it's on the Switch yet. I don't think.
PC?
It's on PC. Yeah. But I haven't played the Switch in a while, to be honest. I don't really have many games on there. I've just got Mario Party and Mario
Cart?
Racing. Those are the two I've got.
Bro, those are the best games.
Yeah, I know. That's why. Honestly, that's the reason why I got the Switch is to play Mario Party with friends and Mario Kart. Yeah.
Heck
Um,
yeah. Dude,
yeah.
I just got a confirmation. Yeah, we're gonna have to play Mario Kart sometime. I'm getting together like a big group of people that we could just all, you know what I mean, get in on it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
man.
I'm
Thanks.
down. Just that as long as I get a little bit of notice ahead of time,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can try to make myself free, and yeah, we'll do it.
I'll send you my code, and then if you ever see me online, just jump in the game. You know.
All right, sounds good, dude.
Cool, man. Thanks, man, again for stopping by and all the dope combo. We'll have to do this again. We'll set something up. And thanks for the birthday
Yeah.
wishes. Like I said, happy belated, and let's take another trip around the sun.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
All right, Shmuelzy.
All right,
Hey, y'all
appreciate
check
you,
out
man.
Shmuelzy. I'll catch you later, bro. Stay up, man.
Yeah, cheers, man. See you around.
Cheers, bro.
All right,
Late.
bye.
Wow, that was very awesome. Oh shit, I didn't send them my. Cool, man. That was dope, yo. That was dope. We got some dope stuff, y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out with me for reals. Like, none of this would be possible without y'all, for real. I'm gonna take a quick. Let me put the counter up. How long do we have? 15 hours. Not bad. Not bad. Lifers! Lifers is back, y'all. How are you doing, my friend? It's been so long since you came to the stream. I'm so glad to hear from you. Oh, dang. What is this? Oh, he must be shouting me out. Here, let me give Shmuelzy a shout out. Y'all got to go follow Shmuelzy. Shmuelzy is very, I mean, you guys.